I believe that as a male figure, he was like one of the first people to really, talk to me in a way where like I felt the sincerity
Mm-hmm.
in what he was saying, and I believed him. And you know, after that, I just continued to follow that that path of wanting to be. And I remember he asked me early on in class. He asked me, Elvis, do you want to be famous or you want to be an actor?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And for some reason, immediately I said, I want to be an actor.
Tell us about a moment where you wish you would have said something and you didn't. There's nothing better than this. Say what you mean. 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 What's up? It's your girl, Aida Rodriguez. Welcome to another episode of Say What You Mean, where people stop by to share those moments where they wish they would have said something and they didn't. And they come to do it here, and you get to see it first. Every episode, I start off with my own Say What You Mean. And I'm practicing this this exercise of saying what I would mean back in the day and saying what I mean now, my more evolved self. My celebrity friend who felt that she needed to put me in my place on a red carpet to tell me that I wasn't a draw and I wasn't a big name. And I just let her do that. And I let her slide with quite a few things. After that, I wish that I would have spoken up, not just to put her back in her place, because that's what the unevolved self would do, but to advocate for myself. And I wish I would have just checked her and been like, bro, what's wrong with you? Why are you feeling so bad about yourself that you got to make me feel bad? You're so big and you're a big name and you're such a celebrity. Why do you feel the need to make somebody else feel small? Do you not believe what's happening in your own life? Stop being trash, bro. What's wrong with you? My more evolved self would say, I hope you heal, because whatever it is that you're doing is because you don't feel good about yourself. Because people who really feel good about themselves do not have the time to try to make others feel bad. Moving on and forward. All right, so I am lucky enough to get to do this because I get to sit with people who I call my friends in real life and people who I love and our family. And the person who I'm about to interview is no exception. He is someone that I talk to pretty frequently. He shows up for me. He's driven to Philadelphia. He's seen me perform in LA and Bellflower. He's just come to support me in so many places that I feel like very supported by him. He's actually one of my favorite actors. He's in one of my favorite movies. I like it like that. The movie that started it all for me, but you get to see him on Godfather of Harlem. Last year, he made history being like the first Afro-Latino to play the lead in a horror film, Mr. Crockett, which was hilarious and terrifying at the same time. He was in Roxanne, but the place where he caught my attention was in American Crime because he delivered one of those performances that took me to one of the most places in my life from my own personal experience. So please welcome Elvis Nolasco.
Hey.
What's up?
How you doing? Good. Yeah, I can't complain. I'm here in your space. It's beautiful. I'm taking it in, taking everything in, That's what we hopefully can do today. Just take it in.
That's why you're such a good actor, because you're always taking it in. You're always in the moment, experiencing. You're somebody that people can learn from. You've coached me before for an audition. You're so calm. And the people who don't know you don't know how not calm you really are.
Yeah.
Firecracker.
Yeah. My daughter says that all the time. She's like, Papi, calm down, slow down, shut up. You're embarrassing me. And I just can't help it. There's a big kid inside of me. And whenever there's the opportunity or the right space for that kid to come out, he freely comes out, and
I do know. I do know. You and I grew up pretty similarly. We have like the same, not the same, but culturally, we grew up like same kind of parents. And we grew up with parents where you couldn't say whatever you wanted to say. That was not like now when people are
you
like,
did it. I know you did it. You did it. I know you did it. I'm like, no, I didn't. But
no, and you couldn't express yourself. You couldn't say that's not true to an adult.
Crazy.
What do words mean to you?
Words, they mean a lot. They can mean a lot, but at the same time, it's how I'm interpreting them, how I'm taking them in. Depends who's saying it, how they saying it, why they saying it. So words are powerful, absolutely. You see that throughout our history. You pick up a book, you're like, wait a minute, these words are really hitting.
Right.
So words do have power.
They do. They absolutely do. What is the worst thing anybody's ever said to you
The worst.
that you can remember that stayed with you for a long time?
Oh my God, Elvis the pelvis. Elvis was your blue suede shoes. Oh, Elvis died, came back black. What the is your mother thinking about?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, kids in New York City in the public schools, they were brutal, man. Be careful if you was named Anna. I had a classmate named Anna.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if somebody can drop the A on your name and add an S, it's not that fun either.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I've been told and said so many different things that it's taken me time to actually reflect and really realize that that person maybe was not in the best best space. I remember working one time with a very well-known actor on a project, and I felt this person's energy throughout the filming that I felt like maybe they didn't want me there, or maybe because I was there was kind of like I wouldn't say overshadow, but they felt a certain kind of way, and they weren't too nice, they weren't too friendly, and you would think that someone with the years of experience and the number of films they've done and their notoriety, they would see someone, I will say a newcomer or someone not as experienced. You would think that they would behave or treat that person in a different way. And what this person said to me, which was, I felt it was a stab.
Okay.
And what they said specifically was, you got great instincts, but you need to act out on them.
Okay.
And at that point, I kind of felt like, I'm taking this a certain kind of way. And it took me a while to finally look at it from a different lens. Maybe it was a lesson. Maybe there was truth in what this person was saying. But the way they were treating, on the set, when they said it, it just made me feel like, okay, well, so where's the humility in you? So yeah, words do have power, and depending where you're at, you might hear it through your left ear, you might hear it through your right ear, or you might hear it from your heart. But we have the power to do what we're going to do with those words. So
what's the meanest thing you've ever said to somebody?
What's the meanest thing
that
I've
you
ever
can
said?
Remember?
Man. Oh man, that's a good one. I've said a lot of mean things, and it's been a while, I think, since I've said something very mean to someone. But I once told my mother in a moment of anger, "You are black."
And that was mean to her?
That was mean, but it was truthful. But it was the moment, and it was what kind of like I've been growing up, having to deal with, with a family or with a mother that only wants to identify with like a certain aspect of who she is, but then, yo, negra, no, no, yo soy dominicana. And it's like, okay, I get that. So am I. But somewhere along the line, you're black. There's blackness to you. But yeah, it was funny because it was during Obama's first inauguration. And she voted for him.
Okay, go ahead, mama.
And I'm like, pero usted votó por un negro? And now you're like, so anti-black, So I guess it was mean because of the way I said it. I said it very spiteful. Like I wanted to I wanted to sting.
That's so funny, right? That's the complexities. Godfrey, the comedian, has built a whole platform on this.
Yeah.
The Dominicans not claiming their blackness, which a lot of people don't claim their blackness. Not
Paul
just
Mooney.
Dominicans. Yeah, Paul Mooney had a whole bit about Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
And just the, this whole conversation has become so, first it comes to light, and then we start talking about it, and you hear people having conversations you had never heard before publicly about, the anti-blackness and colorism in all the communities. And then it becomes toxic because people start gatekeeping and saying who can say they're black, who can say they're not black, what black really is, who's black, and all of that stuff. But it's just interesting to hear it from our perspective, because we were raised by people who are their identity is so much another country that's been colonized. It's like, I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, or whatever. They all been colonized. They all got flags that were given to them by colonizers. And so just to hear you say that, for me to tell my mom she was black was hurtful because she didn't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah. It was a pretty intense argument.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was not going to let up, So, and I felt like, that was, because I could have said it a different way. You know? And I could have, but I was mean. I was being mean.
Well, what's funny is that people don't understand. A lot of people love to point out the anti-blackness in the Dominican Republic, but they don't understand the history of the Dominican Republic with blackness and what it meant with Trujillo as president, and how it could be deadly. And it's been passed on from generation. There's a fear in there where it doesn't justify it, but it does explain it, which is not that people just woke up and say, I don't want to be black.
No, there's a whole history behind it, and there's an answer to it. I think that Henry Louis Gates, in his documentary Blacks in Latin America, broke it down really beautifully. It's not just that this is how they expressing themselves. This is what they believe. There's a reason for it. And when you take them back and you start seeing how a lot of after slavery was abolished. It was abolished very early on in the Caribbean. And how a lot of the, indigenous, a lot of the blacks, started to actually live in the Spaniard home and serve the Spaniards, and then started to wanting to, emulate and look like them, their hair, their skin tone, their features. So, but, it's interesting because in that documentary, he also goes to Trujillo's museum. And in his museum, he had this beautiful gold, powder, and specifically, it's known that he used to powder his face, to make himself look a little more white, But the reality is that even if you're mulatto, you're still black, what I'm saying? And you just can't hide it. But he tried his best to hide it. And his Haitian background, and, what these things could do to people throughout the years is just insane, because even when he did the genocide on the Haitians, it was just self-hatred.
Yep. Yeah. Do you ever get backlash for saying things like this from people who don't want to acknowledge that?
No, but I'm sure I probably will, and it's something that, I'm an artist. I'm about my craft, and I stay away from certain, because it's just not my platform. I don't think I'm built for that, or even want to, I have no I'm not inclined. I mean, listen, politics and religion, two things that I just, stay away from expressing. I think each individual has their own platform and their own ways of doing things, so.
But you express it in your art.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play this figure, if you want to do this, everybody's politics and advocacy comes in a different way. It doesn't all have to look the same.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've never been on, Say What You Mean, right? So if I was to be on a different platform that kind of expressed similar, I probably would have spoken about it, But I'm saying truth, So
yeah, I don't think that there will be backlash. I'm only asking because I've seen other people receive it. But I do think that it's important to say the truth. And if you're saying the truth, then the truth shall set us.
It's true.
Is there a moment in life where you can remember saying something that you wish, a moment where you didn't say something and you wish you would have? That moment where you're like, I should have said this.
That's a good question, because for a good number of years, I've been trying to not be that person. And just being able to express myself when the time is open and available. But I wish I would have told that person, on on that set, I wish I would have said, "Hey, where's your humility, man?" Like I wish I would have said something like, you know, there's a way to be able to, do the work, but yet not put yourself in a place where you're having people like distant or not being welcoming enough, and I think that, what we do is a beautiful thing. And, there's a lot of great things that go along with it, but I think that it's okay to pay it forward. It's okay to be there for someone else, so even if it's a kind word or encouragement, or an advice or suggestion, it's okay to give that. It's just how you give it. I felt that incident was not something that was giving. It was not given from a good, kind place. It was more given from an ego place.
You can feel it.
I felt it. There's no doubt about it. I felt it.
Well, now you're on the set. You're on when you're doing Mr. Crockett, you're the movie's named after your character. Now you are not doing that to somebody else.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You carry a project, and the way you carry it is by how you carry yourself. You show up, you greet people. If there's something that doesn't work for you and you want to stay in your work and your exercise, then you let the production know, you let the director know, hey, this is how I want to approach the project, so no one feels like, oh, look at that guy, he doesn't talk to me, he doesn't say anything to. Oh, well, they could explain, well, he's trying to stay in a certain space. But there's always the first day. So the first day, yeah, you go around and you greet people. A good friend of ours does that, Carl Seaton. I got to work with him twice on Godfather of Harlem. And when I first worked with him, he was going around before even saying action, and he made sure that he goes to every person, every department, PAs, crew, everybody, and just introduces himself. And I think that's where it should be.
Nice. So Godfather of Harlem, the new season has started.
Yes.
And is there anything you can tell us about your character that...
Yeah, I think people are going to be in for a really great surprise. And when it comes to Nat Pettigrew, there's going to be a lot of changes in this fourth season, and not just from my character, from all the characters, even the characters that have been introduced for the first time in this season 4. But I think that people could expect to still be moved and still be impacted by the great storytelling. And without giving anything away, I just hope that people will stay tuned and watch, episode, after episode, because Nat Pettigrew has an interesting arc. I'll just say that much.
I love it. And I'm excited that Ron Flynn has joined, because now there are 2 Afro-Latinos on the show.
Un Afro-Cubano y un Afro-Dominicano.
Yeah, I think that's dope.
Yeah. Rome, he came in there, when you're in a show where you're doing like 3-4 seasons in already, and someone comes in, from my own experience, because I've worked on shows that have already been going for 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, there's always that, you're entering a new space. But Rome came in there and he just delved right in, with his character as Frank Lucas. And he did some really great work.
I'm excited. I just know you can't say much, and my inclination is to like try to get more.
Because we talk a lot,
right? And then I don't know what I can and cannot say.
Gotcha.
And so no spoilers for people. You guys have like a cult following with that show. I've been places with you, and men in particular know you. That's a dude from Godfather of Harlem, and then the little girls know you from All American.
Oh yeah,
You say that, we getting them confused.
Yeah,
but it has a very like a following. So I'm like, my natural inclination is to say tell them, but then we can't, because they gotta watch it.
Yeah.
They gotta watch it.
I wish I could, but yeah. I mean, I don't want to, it'll spoil,
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of, being able to, like, be a fan of a show and being looking forward to it, especially us, that it happens to take us a certain amount of time to come back to the next season. And people are like, hey, when is the show coming back? Is the show coming back? So, let's not spoil it for them.
This is season 4, right?
Yes.
Do you get to keep some of the clothes?
Well, I mean, I guess once, at some point,
Some of it. Because you wear some really nice shirts on that show. Like, I like the shirts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The shirts, the fashion is really great. You know, we started the show in 63. We're now in 66. So the fashion, you know, changed like so beautifully from one year to the next. And, you know, we're getting inching into the 70s. So, you know, we're kind of slowly going from the belt, from the, you know, straight legs to a little more room, the ankles, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, even like the hairstyles changed.
Yeah. Well, you got to change with the time.
I did, yeah. I went from my, you know, from my Chuck Berry look to my Sam Cooke look. So now I sport like a little afro.
For the people who've asked, that's his real hair. He does not have extensions. He doesn't have hair plugs. He's just Dominican. And he got Indian and black blood, so that's where the curls come from. And you could look at him and see the indigenous, and he wears the ring that he looks like on his finger. Show him the ring.
Where? Over there? Here? Oh, here you go. Los Indios.
Los Indios. All right, so this section is called Shoulda Kept That. I'm going to share a story that somebody shared with us. And then you tell me if they should have said it or if they should have kept it.
Should have said it, they should have kept it. Okay.
My boy asked me why I have never picked him to be on his basketball team. He asked me if it was because I'm white. I told him kinda. I work with this guy. His wife and my wife are friends. We spend a lot of time together. Black basketball is where I get to hang out with my black friends who also happen to be good at basketball. Should I have kept that?
I think he should have kept his mouth shut, yeah.
Yeah, you think he should have kept it?
Yeah.
He should have said, kinda.
Yeah, that was funny though. But yeah, like, why, you know? I mean, you know, that's he should have kept that.
He should have kept it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our lightning round. It's called Say It With Your Chest.
Lightning?
Yeah, these are some quick questions, but these are just to get to know you
like
a little
Shango
bit better.
lightning or like lightning? You know, because Shango lightning is powerful.
Nah, not like Shango lightning.
Okay.
Smash or pass the WNBA?
Definitely not pass.
Okay, you smashing.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Would you rather New York style pizza or Chicago pizza?
Hello. New York, all the way, every day.
How old were you when you did your first monologue?
Oh my God. I must have been like in my late teens.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Morgan Freeman's monologue to Denzel Washington in the film Glory, when he finally tells him off, you know. Yeah, you know, I can't remember now verbatim, but you know, he was like, you know, you just, you know, yeah, it was powerful. And I remember like having like the VHS copy of Glory. And like just pausing it, you know, and writing down every sentence, you know, and going back and until I finally got the monologue, and I memorized that, and that was one of my first monologues.
That for those of you who don't know, that's where you get the Denzel tear from.
Oh yeah.
Fight or flight, 3 angry pandas.
3 angry pandas. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna fly.
You're not fighting the pandas?
Man. They got claws.
They're bears. Like, I forget, they're bears.
They're strong. You ever seen a baby panda?
Yeah, you see them flipping around and stuff. Yeah. That's how people get killed. Like,
no, I'm flight, baby, flight all day.
I used to be,
especially if it's 3, yo.
But they're babies.
It doesn't matter. It's 3.
3.
They stick together. You have one on my ankle, the other one, you know, jumping at my midsection, and the other one scratching, you know.
That's so funny to see the reactions of people with these fight or flights. Yeah. That's why people have gotten killed by a hippopotamus, because they think that a hippopotamus is a passive animal.
Yeah,
they're not.
You know, animals have their own way of doing things. You know what I'm saying? In a moment of catastrophe, you know, like a group of elephants will turn their backs, like without, you know, nobody has to tell them. You know,
I saw that video today.
yeah,
Of
it's
the
like it's
hurricane.
insane. You know, it's like so. Yeah, don't mess with the animals. You know,
He's scared of pandas.
shoot, I'm scared of a deer.
You can, yeah, they'll kick you to death. If you could say anything to your favorite teacher, what would it be?
Thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for seeing something in me that I did not see in myself. You know, yeah, I would just say thank you because, you know, growing up in New York and feeling like, you know, having been abandoned, you know, by my father and not having a lot of directions, you know, in those early years growing up in the concrete jungle, my life could have gone so many different directions. And there was a teacher at George Washington High School who believed in me, saw something in me, and he proved it by first asking me to play Bill Starbuck in the play The Rainmaker. And I was like, dude, I'm from the, you know, from the hood. How am I gonna play a cowboy? You know, how am I gonna play like this dreamer? You know, but yeah, you know, thanks to him. So, and the reason for that is because I believe that as a male figure, he was like one of the first people to really, you know, talk to me in a way where like I felt the sincerity in what he was saying, and I believed him. And you know, after that, I just continued to follow that you know that path of you know wanting to be. And I remember he asked me early on in class. He asked me, Elvis, do you want to be famous or you want to be an actor?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And for some reason, immediately I said, I want to be an actor. And he said, well, you're going to be all right then.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
great.
Robert Stonebridge was his name.
That's the name of the teacher.
Yeah.
So they say that the stage is the true actor's medium. Which one would you prefer? Which one is your preference, the stage or the screen?
Well, that's actually true. You know, the stage is an actor's medium, and you know, movies is a filmmaker's medium. You know, filmmakers, you have editors, you have you know directors, you have, and you know, you could do some great work, and then you know, it gets cut up, and so what do I prefer? I prefer you know expression. I prefer, you know, to be able to be truthful and vulnerable with characters and be able to, whether it's on stage or whether it's film or whether it's a black box, you know, theater or whether it's a short film, you know, I just, you know, I think for me that's where it lies.
A short film, which you still have to read.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You know, sometimes I don't like to, you know, I don't want to look at my emails. So many to read, you know. No, but you're absolutely right.
Must be nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have a bunch of stuff coming up that I know that Godfather of Harlem is out now, but you have another show coming out. You said.
Yeah, I do, and I also have a short film that I executive produced for Andrew Rodriguez from the South Bronx, up and coming filmmaker, very talented, Afro Latino. And he wrote a really beautiful story about a father and son who estranged relationship for 15 years. And when they first get together and meet, which will be screening at Tribeca Film Festival
Nice.
June 9th. And then I think you're talking about Task,
Yep.
show that I did for HBO, starring Mark Ruffalo, myself, and a host of other amazing, great actors. And it's a really great, compelling story. I got to work with my friends from New York, you know, Dominican. Yeah, so that'll be out in the fall.
Nice, nice. Um, I always like to let people know because when people love you, they want to know everything that's going on with you, and because the social media has and the internet has so much stuff going on, you need to let people know. I know you don't like that stuff. You're not a big social media person. You are an actor. You are even when you said that the insult that the guy was like, you have good instincts, but you don't know how to use them. I was like, that's a nice guy. You were like cut by that because you're such an artist and such an actor. And I think about somebody being like, man, you trash. And I'm like, wow, he's such I look at you and I'm like, he is such an artist. Like it's so meaningful that you can decode that statement and know that it is an insult. Whereas I would be like, oh, I need to be better at this. And you're like, you meant that with an insult. You said, I don't know my Hamlet.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's like I'm stepping into your space, and there's no room for your space.
yes.
So I'm gonna do whatever I can to, and these are things that interestingly enough, like early on in my career, right? I go to an audition when we used to go in the room, and you're waiting in the lobby area, and I remember a good friend of mine. I was ready to go in there. I was ready to go in there, and this friend of mine saw me at the audition. He started talking to me,
oh no.
and I was like, but I was like, I was just going along with it, and next thing you know, he took me out.
Out of it.
He took me out, and I didn't realize it until afterwards, So so I kind of learned how to just stay in your space and not let other things, take you out of your zone. Very important.
Advice. Anything else you have coming up that you want to let people know about?
I'm getting ready to go abroad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to London, and I'm going to go study. I got accepted to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm going to go out there for a little bit and do an intensive. So back to the basics.
Yeah, I applied, but they told me that I have good instincts, but I don't know how to use them.
Yes, you do, which is why you do what you do. I've always said I admire you. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to be and do what you do. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being that for us. Because again, we all have our lanes, and we do what we do, and we know, okay, this is my strength, but I think that ever since I met you, you've been the same person, and I think you have a powerful voice for our community, and I think it's important to have that. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here, because I know you're traveling. And so I really appreciate you making time to come be on Say What You Mean with me. We've been talking about it. We haven't been able to line up because you've been, I could talk to you one minute you in New York and the next minute you're in Spain or you're skiing somewhere. So I'm just glad that you were able to be here while we're shooting.
Man.
I want to say thank you to you for watching Say What You Mean. Please tell people where they can follow you.
On Instagram,
What's
Elvis Nolasco, Nasco, all together, Elvis Nolasco. And the reason for the Nolasco was because some other Nolasco was already around and available. So, and yeah.
All the Latino names.
Yes, yeah. I thought I was unique.
There's like 100 Aida Rodriguez's and 75 of them are criminals.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
And we'll see you next time on Say What You Mean with Aida Rodriguez. We want to invite you to follow us on social media at SWYM Pod on all social media platforms. If you are listening, please hit the subscribe button if you're on Spotify or Apple. If you are watching, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to give us your rating and your review. And we will see you next time on Say What You Mean.